Today, the moon starts the day out in Capricorn, where it's been for the last couple of days. And if you've been following me, we've been taking kind of a deep dive into what that meaning of Capricorn structure, systems, infrastructure, skeletons, foundations, something that contains or holds something up. And so today the moon moves through the final degrees of Capricorn before it heads into Aquarius. And as it passes by late Capricorn, or as it goes through late Capricorn, it passes by Pluto. So Pluto is hanging out there at 28 degrees Capricorn, moving very slowly. It kind of spends a long time in a region of the zodiac before eventually sort of moving along, because Pluto is so far out in our solar system. It moves very slowly through the zodiac. So as the moon comes into contact with Pluto early in the morning, my time anyway, US Pacific time, and it's coming past that planet, making that contact, bringing a connection with deeper truth, the depth of Pluto. Pluto takes us into the underworld. It takes us into that place of transformation, of power, of a deeper truth, and the process of death and rebirth, the metaphorical, metaphysical process of death and rebirth. And so anyway, as the moon contacts Pluto, it brings in this serious, intense vibe. You may notice some of that intensity, that intense feeling this morning. And so it's going to depend on your time zone when that is exactly. In the on the East Coast of the United States, it'll be late morning, I think. On the West Coast, it is exact, just around just around 9 a.m. So not a little after 9 a.m. So it'll be noon. If you're on the East Coast, I guess it's not morning there anymore, but at any rate, so this intense feeling as the moon moves through the later degrees of Capricorn, themes of the intensity of power and how that shows up in our systems, our structures, our institutions. I'm Marina Ormes, here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, December 15th. Today, as we look at the moon completing its time in Capricorn, it goes in into Aquarius following Capricorn. So for much of this day, the moon is also in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the sign of rebellion, revolution, breakthrough, freedom, breaking free. So we have, in the evolutionary process of life, we have that dynamic where we build things, we create legacies, we plant our stake in the ground, we build lasting things like buildings and cathedrals and constitutions and all kinds of things that we put in place to create structures and systems that are long lasting. That is what Capricorn does. It builds things, right? And if you think about it, even though those things are very tangible, they also had to come into existence at some point. So indicating that before that, they did not exist in form. So when they came to exist in form, they bring in that structure, that form, but they also are a form of manifesting. It is a way of bringing results, of creating outcomes that at one time were just a figment of our imagination, maybe just a dream, maybe just a drop in the ocean of possibility. So that's Capricorn. It brings possibility into, monument physical existing form that seems indestructible. So what does Aquarius do? Now the moon goes into Aquarius after it's in Capricorn, bringing shakeup. So Aquarius is the energy of lightning bolts, earthquakes. What do those things do? They destroy monuments. They destroy structures. Maybe not destroy. Sometimes they might destroy, but they remind us that what we thought was forever and durable and untouchable. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but lasting. We think of things as lasting, and then the energy of Aquarius says, no, that can change. It can change. And so what we think of as our limitations also can change when we experience freedom. We experience freedom from those limitations. So that is what the energy of Aquarius is reminding us about. So if we put that in the context of our Sagittarius moon cycle that began with the new moon on Tuesday, December 12th, Sagittarius new moon, themes of this current moon cycle where we're thinking about philosophies, ideologies, our guiding principles, things that give meaning to our lives. And then we think about how that shows up in a structure in Capricorn, and then in Aquarius, we get to have that vision of the future. What would it look like beyond this structure? How could we bring change to this structure? How could we upset the apple cart, change the rules, do things differently, rebel against the king, right? Create a revolution, not follow the rules, not do things the way we're supposed to do. So that, of course, can be good or bad, right? And sometimes it depends on your perspective. So, I mean, if you're the king and you're being overthrown, it may not feel like a good thing. But if you are the people who are reclaiming their power and authority and not having to be under the thumb of an authoritarian ruler such as a king, then it might be a good thing. So it depends on your perspective. How do we work with this energy on a personal level? So you want to be thinking about your principles, your values, your guiding principles, and what gives meaning to your life, right? That is the theme of this moon cycle. And if you've been following me, you should be down with that. If you haven't been following me, you may want to review my videos of the past few days to have a deeper understanding of where we're at right now. So with the energy of the moon going into Aquarius, we get the opportunity to think about what things might look like if they're different. We get to bring shakeup. We get to rebel against what seems unchangeable. And we get to imagine the future. So there's a sense of working toward a cause, working towards something that gives our lives meaning, and using our minds. Aquarius is an air sign that wants us to think big, outside the box, shifts in consciousness. How is our ideology? How can our ideology shift to really embrace and embody bigger picture of meaning, of principles, of what it is we value? So how can we incorporate our values more fully into our philosophy to create an ideology or a way of thinking that serves us better? And that's going to happen in the collective as well as at the personal level. So on the personal level, what you can do for your own self-care is create that time and space to connect with new ideas. And so I love to share around the Aquarius moon every month. It happens every month, it comes around. We have this opportunity to clear our minds, right? To get rid of the clutter, the same way that we sweep the debris, clear the cobwebs from our rooms and our floors. We are creating space. And so by creating space in your mind, you're also laying the foundation for something new to occur to you, a possibility that you haven't thought of before. Maybe a new solution, maybe a way forward, maybe a way out of a pickle that you may find yourself in. Maybe you can't figure out what to do and you feel trapped and overwhelmed. And if you clear your mind, you might think of something that could help you shift that, or even just change your perspective about it, which can change how you feel. And so the feelings and the thoughts, they go back and forth, they work with each other, they build on each other. We can have that experience where things spiral from hard emotions to negative thinking, to more hard emotions, to more negative thinking. So to interrupt that cycle, that spiral, we can also have positive thinking that invites in positive feelings, that gives us the openness, the relaxation, the space to think of new ideas or new ways of thinking or new ways of approaching something or possibilities we haven't thought of before. And that can make us feel better. And so thinking of a positive spiral, what about that? What about that in this era where we have this collective experience of overwhelm and existential angst? So what if we were to have a positive spiral where we fed off of each other, we got inspired, and that led to the next thing that we could do, and that made us feel better, which gave us more energy to think more good thoughts. Anyway, just a thought. So that's what Aquarius can help us connect with. And so again, on a personal level, what you want to do is space out, clear your mind, let go of the negative thoughts, or even just the habitual thoughts, because that is the clutter. That is the thing that's taking up space in your mind. That it is the thing that is pulling you to feel your limitations instead of inviting you to open to how things could look and maybe a way forward into that new way of thinking and being. So possibility, clearing space, staring out the window is a great way to clear your mind. That's the kind of thing I mean. Taking a shower where you get away from the distractions and the interruptions and the habitual thinking. So whether it's going for a walk, staring out the window, doing some art, listening to some music, whatever helps you get out of your own distracting thoughts so that you are in that place of empty space where new ideas and possibilities can occur to you. And that can feed into your connection with the bigger picture of meaning that is part of this moon cycle. And with Mercury retrograde, I have been sharing about how we want to give a little more time and attention to our assumptions and look before you leap. Be thorough in your considering of all the different ways things might go. So that can play into this Aquarius moon and thinking new ideas. It's great to have them occur to you, but then you want to also write it out. What would that look like? What else do I need to think about? What else do I need to consider? Not to bring in negative thinking, but just to bring in balance and to let yourself have that gift of the ability to be thorough and to think things through and to look at all the different angles. All right. So Thank you so much for being here. I'm Marina Ormes. You can learn more about me and how to work with me at astrologyheals.com. It's such a gift to give yourself to commit to a package of sessions working with me, because we can really take the information from your chart and see how it applies in your real life situations and circumstances, how you can reframe your thinking, bring shift into your life from your own natal chart, which is your personal instructions that are going to help you learn, grow, evolve, and unfold into your highest potential, what it is your soul is here to do. So I got an opportunity to work with me, 5 sessions, working one-on-one with me, diving deep and creating a soul-based action plan for you based on your own chart. My rates are going to be going up at the beginning of the year, so go check it out at astrologyheals.com. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing and following me on this YouTube channel. I'm here every day with astrology for unshakable self-care, and I'll see you next time.